All right, Algebra 2, we are on 8.4 today, Law of Cosine. The law of cosine is c squared equals a squared plus b squared minus 2 times a times b times cosine of angle c. So the only angle in here is this c at the end. All these other a, b's, and c's, these are lowercase, they're sides. This is a capital C. So if we were to take the square root to get c by itself, c equals the square root of a squared plus b squared minus 2ab cosine of angle C. And we use this when we don't have a right triangle, because if we had a right triangle, we could just use the Pythagorean theorem, but none of these angles are 90 degrees, so we need to use the law of cosines. And we would use this in a situation where we have two sides and one angle, and we want to find the other side. So let's see an example. We want to find x right here. They give us two sides, one angle, and we want to find the side opposite of that angle. Well, this side, x, is going to be the square root of 11 squared plus 18 squared minus 2 times a times b times cosine of c, right? That's what we just wrote down on the previous slide. We just plugged everything in. And then you just plug this into your calculator, and we would eventually get x equals 16.35. A lot of these numbers are not going to be perfect because they're not perfect right triangles, so that's okay. Lastly, we're going to solve this triangle for the other angle, and the other side. Well, let's use law of cosines to find the side first. So we have angles A, B, and C, which means we have sides A, B, and C directly opposite of those. So we're going to use the law of cosines to find side B with 5, 6, and 48 as the angle right there. So B equals 5 squared plus 6 squared minus 2 times 5 times 6 times cosine of 48. Again, we just plugged in all three of these pieces of information into our law of cosines. We figure out that the side B is 4.6. Well, now we know all three sides and we know an angle. So we can use what we just learned yesterday with those ratios. So using, I believe it's the law of sines, we have sides opposite of each other. So we know that this side right here is 6 and opposite is angle A. So it'd be 6 over sine A has to be equivalent to 4.6 over sine of 48. We're just going to cross multiply right here. So 6 times sine of 48 equals 4.6 times sine of A. We're going to try to get the sine of A by itself. So we were dividing by 4.6 on both sides. And now we have the sine of A equals, plug this into your calculator, use parentheses. So like parentheses 6 times sine of 48, double parentheses divided by 4.6. Get this decimal right here. In order to undo a sign, you're going to hit second on your calculator and then hit sine, I believe. And that'll be the inverse of sine. That'll kind of undo it on your calculator and you get the angle of 75.76 degrees. Now we know that in a triangle, all three angles add up to 180. So we have 48 plus this 75.76. Whatever's left over from 180 is going to be our angle C, which is 56.24. I'll be at tennis all day, but I could be on my phone, so if you have a question, send me an email.